Guys, it's Madison from the BG, and today I'll be reading Possum in the Peeper. Beep, 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 Possum opened his small eye. What is that noise? He buried his head deeper in his warm winter nest. Beep, 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 I'll never go back to sleep with all that racket, he said. I'm going to find out what's being so inconsiderate so early in the spring. Possum stepped out into his cool green morning. Beep, 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 Possum looked up. A pair of carbirds were building their nest high in the tree among the new leaves. Is that where the beeping's coming from? Demanded Possum. Not us, said the carbirds. We can secretly hear ourselves sing with all that clamor. Well, I'm going to see for myself who's making such an awful din. We'll come too, said the carbirds. We'll search high in the trees while you look on the ground. And they were off through the woods. Possum stopped to sniff the trot of lilies blooming along the path. Beep, 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 they followed the noise up a hill. At the crest of the hill stood a bear, blinking blearily outside his cave. Who woke me up in my warm winter sleep? He snarled, showing his long white teeth. Was it you? He said, spying Possum. No, said Possum, but we are on our way to find out who it was. I had better come along then, growled the bear. You may need someone with my size when you find this fellow. They continued over the hill, the carbirds flying ahead and the bear grumbling along behind. The spring sun shone down the warm on their feathers and fur. Beep, 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 the sound was getting louder and louder. They came down to the marsh where they saw a muskrat spring cleaning his house. Excuse me, shouted Possum. Have you been peeping? What? Yelled the muskrat. I can't hear you with all of that noise. Well, we're on our way to put a stop to it. At once and for all, said the bear. If you could show us the way through the swamp. They pressed on and following the muskrat, peering between the greens, shoots, and into dark pools. Closer and closer, louder and louder. Possum pushed aside some weeds. Aha! They cried, squishing at the small spot on the bank. How can such a small speck of a thing make such a huge racket? Asked the bear. You have woken up the entire forest, little frog, said Possum. The little peeper looked up from the possum and the muskrat and the catbirds and the following the bear. Then he puffed onto his tiny throat. Rise and shine, he shouted. Shake a leg, build your nest, and clean your burrows. It's spring, it's spring, it's spring. The bear stepped closer to the little frog. He growled. I don't like being awakened so early in the year, especially, he added, by a frog. But look at the beautiful spring flowers, cried the peeper, and sniff the good spring smells. How could you want to sleep through such a glorious spring day? The animals looked around the bubbling trees, and they smelt blooming flowers and felt warm sun shining. They listened to the buzzing bees and the whirling birds. Legs stretched and bellies rumbled, and it was true, quite true. No one could deny that it was a fine thing indeed, but out and about with the first warm day of spring. There's nothing quite like a good walk in the spring morning, proclaimed Possum. Won't you join us for breakfast, little peeper? And the spring peeper was already peeping again and to the top of his lungs. Time for breakfast, toast and tea. The early bird gets the worm. Peep, peep, peep. Peep, peep, peep. The end. Okay, Thank you guys for listening to my story. I hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.